Hello everybody. I will show you how you could take a color photo that was shot in the desert of Arizona and edit the image to look like a fine art black and white photo with a timeless style using Adobe Lightroom. To begin, I like to start with the Lens Correction tab, and I will enable the profile corrections. If shot in RAW, Lightroom will automatically adjust the image based on the camera and the lens type that was used to take the photo and remove any related distortions. However, the lens profile can be changed manually if the data has been lost or is not available in the photo. From there, I will move on to the Basic tab and change the image to black and white. The next section controls the white balance, and I'm slightly decreasing the temperature and also lowering the tint by moving the sliders to the left. Under the tone section, I will bring the global exposure down just a little bit. Then I will move the contrast slider to the right and bump up the contrast a small amount throughout the image. As for the highlights, I will lower them by a lot and move the slider almost completely to the left side. The shadows will be the opposite. I will increase them and bring back some of the lost detail. When adjusting both the whites and the blacks, I am holding down the Option key as I move the slider until a very small portion of the highlights turn completely white. I'm doing the same for the black section, but letting more parts of the photo turn completely black. All of these adjustments are currently affecting the entire image, so I will increase the texture, clarity, and dehaze, but only by a couple of points each, so that I don't distort the image in unexpected ways. For example, a section of rock might look better with some additional texture, but the sky doesn't need any, so those areas of the photo can be adjusted individually. The photo looks better as compared to its initial conversion to black and white, but it still looks too harsh from that late afternoon sun. But that can be fixed by using masks and dodging and burning parts of the image. Click on the Mask tab and begin with the rocks. Create a new mask and select Subject. In this case, Lightroom will assume that the rocks are the subject and do a pretty good job of highlighting them with a mask. You can fine-tune it with the brush tool if you need to. I will do some very small adjustments in the tone section, but my main purpose here is to adjust the texture and clarity of the rocks. Since I'm working with a selection that only includes the rocks, I don't have to worry about affecting the sky or anything that isn't already highlighted as part of the mask. The next mask I will use will be a linear gradient that will start at the top of the image and go down to almost the middle of the photo. Currently this mask is over the sky and the rocks, but I really want it to be just interacting with the sky. So I will select Subtract and then Subject, and then the rocks will be removed from the selection. I'll decrease the exposure and start to darken up the sky. The dark sky behind the rocks is creating a much more dynamic look to the photo as compared to before when some parts were blending into the background without creating a good separation. I think some parts could still even be a little darker, and to do that I will right click on the mask and then duplicate it. I'll adjust the exposure so that on this mask layer the exposure only has to be decreased by a small amount. The bottom of the image needs to be edited to push the viewer's eye up towards the rocks and into the sky. To do that, I'll use another linear gradient, and this time start from the bottom and bring the gradient up a little under the halfway point of the image. I will also decrease the exposure quite a bit and darken up all the rugged desert plants down below. Looking at the rock on the left, I want to darken up the midtones a small amount, so this time I'll create a new mask and use a brush tool and paint all in the shadow. Then I can slightly decrease the exposure. Now I have an image that has a nice dark blacks that blend into smooth grays and eventually turn into bright whites. The contrast of light and dark brings the viewer's eye into the middle of the image where the rocks appear to be bursting out from the ground up into the sky. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, Please hit subscribe to see more in the future.